Okay, so hi. Hi. I'm Adam, as you know, and I'm not entitled to tell you any of this. I don't have any education about privacy or online security, but I do, as you all know, front-end development here at WebNode by day and by night. I care about online security, and I'm a strong online privacy advocate, and I advocate free software. And I took this opportunity here to tell you something about it in like a general sense. And I prepared some nice images and whatnot. And you could say that we will do it in some chapters, but the whole topic of privacy and all the stuff we are going to talk about can be described in these 5 steps we'll go through. That's why, what, how, wow, what now. And there will be a Q&A at the end, so please write your questions and we'll deal with them at the end. So we'll go straight forward and we will deal with them. This presentation is actually an HTML document, and it's all on this is like a GitHub username, and this is poorly drawn GitHub icon. And there you can find the exact copy of this thing here. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, first chapter, botnet bingo. If you ever watched Terminator, there was this term botnet, but in like online security expert circles, we use the term botnet as a big company that data mines people for whatever purposes. Basically, like most of them nowadays, they do it for sole purpose of advertisement, so selling all the data they gather. And botnet is just like the biggest corporations you can think of, their products, their collection, their practices, just all the bad stuff you can imagine about running a big corporation online. And this will be quite interactive talk, but you don't have to talk that much. I just want you to raise your hands a few times. So I have this image here, and we will wait for the next. So I want you to raise your hand if you use at least one of the services displayed here. Okay. And now I want to raise your hand if you pay for any service or product here that is not the black icon. Okay. Any one of you, did you pay for anything else that isn't Roblox or Google Drive? Okay. Okay. Which you pay for? Facebook. Okay. But generally, as you can see, with the exception of these black things, because they are OS, almost none of you raised your hand, and I want to ask you why. Why you don't have to pay for use any of these services that are called back anyway?
Because you're paying with your identity.
Or with your data. You pay for data online.
Exactly. There's this saying that's quite cliche that it just goes, and I wrote it in the description of this talk, you probably already, and it's that if you didn't pay for the product, you are the product. And it basically is that Gmail was launched 15 years ago already, and they offered 1 gigabyte of data free, which was quite a lot back in the day, and they offered free non-stop online. So for private Gmail, email for everyone. And if you look at the Wikipedia page of Gmail, they admitted that when they launched it, and they do it like now as well, the algorithm at Gmail scans through the text in the email, looks for the keywords, and then allow the keywords to be used by the advertisers to target you, the app. So if you mentioned, I'm going for a vacation to Bahamas, and I'm going to do it in June, and I don't know, I'll go to Spain, so I will buy some, I don't know, local beer, I don't know, India from Spain. San Miguel, I don't know. So then the advertisers of San Miguel will say, okay, target everyone at Gmail that said San Miguel in their email, and you will end up having San Miguel advertisements in your email. And this is the concept that Google is built upon. Google never was like, the search engine at Google was never really the main issue at Google. It was, still is, and will be advertisement company, the biggest. If you look at the Wikipedia of Facebook, if you have an Android phone or iPhone as well, and have a Facebook application installed, Facebook admitted that they track or collect other data that are not connected with the Facebook application at all. They record your phone call history, your messages history, and other stuff from your phone, just for the sole purpose of adding the data to their like a big cluster of data for their advertisement. That's why it's free. Free as in free beer. Now there have been 2 researches done. This was one research that says that with big enough data given, the algorithm was better able to predict the person's personality traits than any of the human participants of the same research. And they also done another research with 60,000 people, and the algorithm was based just on the likes. Like, if you're on Facebook, the research was only about things, pages, events, and stuff you liked. And they were able to determine with a very, very extreme level of accuracy some very personal stuff about the person just based on the likes. And this is not really only about advertisement anymore. This is just having a profile on people based on the data used willingly by the people on their services. And the services like Facebook are designed with this in mind. You know, they switched, like 10 years ago, Facebook switched to this endless scroll feed, where you just scroll down and look for something interesting to appear. And at the beginning, Facebook just showed you the most recent posts of your friends. And then they quickly realized that they had to change the algorithm to show not only your friends' content, but what might be the most interesting content for you just built on your profile. So yeah, that's why these researches are so important for people to see, because it shows exactly how much data the company has on you, even though you gave them on your behalf. Another article, Facebook admitted that they track people who don't actually use Facebook or are not logged into Facebook. I will get into the details, technical details further. This is true, it's happening. Google does that as well. And that's quite creepy. If you ever watched a movie called The Social Network, there's this actor who is supposed to be Sean Parker, a marketing specialist at Facebook at the early stages of Facebook. And this is a clip that I like to show you here, just to get the idea of why is it all happening.
I really get that Facebook is cool, that's what it's gonna come for. Yeah. You don't want to ruin with ads because ads aren't cool. Exactly. It's like you're throwing the biggest party on campus and someone's saying it's gotta be over by 11. That's exactly. You don't even know what the thing is yet. How big it can get, how far it can go. This is no time to take your chips down. $1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool? You. $1 billion.
He said, Facebook is cool, that's what it's going for. You don't want to ruin it with ads. Ads aren't cool. You know what's cool? $1 billion. That's the business Mark was set up to, and that's what's happening nowadays. I will end this section of disclosing data with this quote of Eric Schmidt, which was a long-time CEO at Google back in the day. Now he's not there anymore. Who said that if you are doing something that you don't want other people to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing this in the first place. This was the CEO of the biggest company nowadays on the world. So this is just to give you an idea how much they actually care about your privacy with all the pop-ups of new privacy policy and stuff. It's a company like any other. They are not doing it for philanthropic reasons. So the data is the new gold. means. So we're going for chapter 2. That was why people do it. Money, and I want to tell you what's going on actually. So if you went to the internet 10 years ago and you checked some news and you saw these ads. Now these ads were pretty primitive. It was like the advertiser were only able to send the company just image, okay? With the company or said like, okay guys, we got 500,000 people a day and we are able to offer you some space on our website for, I don't know, $1,000. And they gave them the image, it was some PNG or GIF image, and that's all. It's not intrusive, it's just there, it doesn't track you, it doesn't collect any data on you, it's just there. Now, if you go to any modern website, let's go to Amazon. Amazon tracks your mouse movement when you scroll through the page, when you hover over the image. They track your keystrokes when you type because they want to have the best idea about your behavior on the website. People from marketing might know what's going on here. They want to maximize the profiling data just to target the ads better, just to have more data on the users, to sell them what they think they need, or they're trying to make them the wishes for a thing that they might think that it will be. That's sort of something. Yeah, if you log into Facebook, all of you are probably now logged into Facebook. So let's be honest. If you go to any website that uses any feature of Facebook, it could be like button, it could be comment sections. It means that Facebook, because it's there and you are logged in, Facebook knows that you are visiting the page. Facebook has a record of your visit. That means that if you open a website that has comments from Facebook and you are logged in and you see yourself here, or you see the amount of likes with next to the like button, it actually, what's happening is that your browser reads the code and there is this line saying, okay browser, now you need to pull in this comment section from this Facebook server, and it does, and it shows it to you, and that way Facebook knows you are here. So yeah, just a side note, if you're using Firefox, which you already should, there's this extension called Facebook Container, which is quite self-explanatory. It blocks Facebook cookies or session inside the Facebook tab. So if you go to Facebook, you log in, you do your stuff there, whatever it is, and you go to other tab or other website, it won't leave traces of Facebook, and it's quite reasonable to have this installed if you don't want the Facebook to spy on you through the internet. Yeah, let's go to the bigger fish in the market, Gmail. Okay, a few years back, before the big alphabet acquiring Google and stuff, you use Gmail the ordinary way. You went to gmail.com, click login, you log into Gmail, and that was it. Now, if you want to log into Gmail, you are not really signing into Gmail, you are signing into the Google account. Google account is one big united account of all these services here. Gmail, there's YouTube there, it's calendar and whatnot, Hangouts, Explorer, Google Docs, Google Sheets, presentation, news. And all these Google services share the same profile. And they also do the same thing as Facebook does on the internet, but Facebook is doing it in a more obvious way, because you see the comment section and you can think like, yeah, there's this comment section and I'm logged in and I see my profile picture here, so probably there is some connection going on. But the Google is absolutely everywhere, and it's the same thing. If you log into Google account, you have this, session cookie thing, whatever. I don't need to explain it. But then you go to the internet, wherever, there is like 100% chance that you are leaving traces for Google, because now we are at the level 1 consequences. I raised it to levels. any website with any Google website components you visit, it's linked to your profile at Google. And now, what does it mean? It means that if you go to the website, and the website uses some Google service, which is like Google fonts to display whatever nice fonts they want to display, it means that your browser connects to Google to get the font displayed for you to have it nice. So Google knows you've been here, and because you are logged into Gmail or whatever in the browser forever, yeah, Google knows it's you who's been on this website. This is not just Google Fonts; it's every Google service. It might not be that obvious, but yeah, if you go to the website that uses some methane capacity, okay, this is like a platform for ordering food, and it uses you fill in the address here. And it needs to know your address to show you the restaurants available for delivery on this address. And that Wayblog service uses the most popular map system online, Google Maps. So again, you're connected to Google to get the map, but Google knows that you are logged in, so they know you are here. Same for Google Capture. You know this thing? Yeah. And same for Google Analytics system. We use it as well. Yeah, I should really talk to someone here responsible for Google, whatever. It means that any data we have on users, we are acquiring them through Google Analytics, and it means we are sending them to Google. Google knows stuff about my users. They can process them however they want, and then they display them to us. Like, yeah, just think about it. Like, if Google has some competitors and they all use Google Analytics, Google is quite capable of predicting what their next move is because they get all the customers' data. So this was the level 1. You are logged in. Yeah, just very fast. This was the level 1. You are logged into some Google service and you browse the internet. And anywhere where the Google is implemented, some service, Google knows. Now, let's go level after a bit. Where is this thing? Yeah, this thing. I hate it. This was Google account, and you browse the internet. So Google has a reach anywhere where is their service displayed. Now, but if you use Google Chrome, it means it's the browser, it's the whole browser. So yeah, any online browser activities you do can be recorded at Google, and there's nothing you can do. Because if they decide tomorrow to track every mouse movement in Google Chrome, it's Google, it's their proprietary application. They can do it, and there's nothing you can do. I will tell you what to do at the end. So, but that's not just a thing of Chrome, because if you go to the default settings in Firefox and list Google as a string, as text, some Google service is used in other browsers. Now, there is this malware prevention. It's like a web standard nowadays, and Google does this thing that it can read the file name of the thing you were downloading. Let's say someone sends you an image over the email. You click on it, it downloaded to your computer, and you see it in the Chrome little bar there. The file is downloaded here. Google records the name of the file, and if at any point on the internet the name is recognized as malware, Google can prompt you with the info to any person next that's downloading the same file. Hey, this has been recorded as malware. And this service is quite popular, and it's also in the Firefox as the default download protection engine. And also the phishing prevention with database. Okay, all the websites you visit, by default, they go through the same browsing that google.com/whatever, just to get the idea of what the website is, and if by any chance it's been ever recorded as a phishing, just to prompt you. And you could think that this is a good thing, because it might be secure to know if this is a malware or a phishing website. But you also need to think of it like, I'm sending all the info to Google to help me be secure. Like, yeah, you just need to think about it. Auto-translate. Every website you can get auto-translated by Google. Means get it read by Google and translated by Google. And I don't even want to talk about location Wi-Fi. Okay, I will tell you. Many years ago, Google did this project. You might know it. It's called Google Street View. Everyone knows it. And what Google did was that they just drove the car throughout America and took pictures. Okay, but they also had a lot of other antennas and services in the car built in, and they got the Wi-Fi receivers in the car. Okay, so when they were driving through the streets, they were collecting the Wi-Fi signal. They were getting the SSID names of the Wi-Fis, MAC addresses of the Wi-Fis, and as they were driving through the street, they could measure the differences between the Wi-Fi signal strength. So if you are following me here, it means that they can determine where the Wi-Fi router is located with quite nice precision. And they store it in the database, and this is the database you get the info from whenever any website asks you here in the top corner if you want to share the location, because they know where the Wi-Fi routers are located on the map. It's quite crazy. Yeah. So this was level 2. Everything you do in your browser is recorded at Google. Now let's level up. Okay. Just think, I don't need to even show you in slides. Like, Google has this proprietary operating system for phones called Google Android. And this is quite self-explanatory. Anything you do runs like on the Google platform. Anything you do on the phone, if you don't choose to root it and flash your custom ROM, which is not really an easy thing to do, you might get the data collected on anything. And it happens here as well. It's just I'm wanting to show Google because they are more crazy. Because Apple has this, Apple also data mines people, but they have paid model. Okay, you pay quite a lot of money to get the Apple products. So one could think that they don't actually need to do that much data mining. But Google admits that they do it. So that's what is going on from our chapter list. Now we are going to how, and this will be, I won't go into that much detail of technical issues, but just to have a general idea, like what's going on and what are the biggest killers here. If you go to this fantastic website called browserleaks.com, you can click through these icons and test your browser for its security. And there is this very clever thing called canvas fingerprinting, and it does this thing that when you build a website, you can nowadays use many ways to do it. But when you code them in HTML, the language, you can use this thing called canvas, and it creates. Imagine it like this: it gives you the ability to have a blank canvas, which only you can draw. You can draw 2D or three-dimensional plane. Okay. And what the canvas fingerprinting is that it's instructing the computer to open a canvas, write some text, browserleaks.com, canvas 102, and then use some graphical things like color the font, use some shadow, and move it on a 3D plane like this, and do some skewing to do some very complex animation. And because every computer has a slightly different hardware configuration, has a slightly different graphical card, has a different fonts installed in their computer, it means that almost every computer will draw this image very slightly different. And if you take this image, convert it to code like this, you can compare these codes. And this is my browser here at the office. And you can see that it has 100% uniqueness of 1/3 of a million users that tested this on this website. So that means that this website instructed my browser to display this image, it records it, and next time, if I come here, and I can even open anonymous window, it doesn't really matter because it just calculates stuff. So if I open anonymous window, open the same site, it will produce the same image because it just checks fonts, colors, and hardware stuff. And they will know it's me. And it's crazy. Another thing, there's this technology called WebRTC, which stands for real-time communication. It's very cool stuff. You can do phone calls with it, you can do video games with it, but it also leaks your internal IP address. This IP address is easy, everyone can get it, but this is the internal address on the network, like my computer inside the web network. It's quite dangerous. You can block RTC in your browser, in Chrome, in Firefox as well, if you don't need it. And this is the last of the technical ones I want to show you. And this is a social media login detection. And it checks what websites you are logged in. Now, how does it do it? If you go on Facebook and publish a photo, and you said it's public, the privacy setting public, it doesn't necessarily mean it's public to the internet. Sometimes you can say that it's public for anyone on Facebook, which means that if you are logged into Facebook, you can see the image. So what this website do is that they show you invisible image from Facebook, but it's only visible to people logged into Facebook. And if they get the error, like, hey, this user is not logged in, they can know that you are not logged in. And this is a very neat trick, and they did it. They do it in like a quarter second for all these websites. And if you think about it, if you use like 7 of them with a combination of this thing, they can have some very unique fingerprint on you, because they know what websites are you logged in. This is crazy. And you might think this might not be that big of a deal. But think about banks, okay? A real life example. You go to your bank website and you were considering buying a house or flat. And they have this like online calculator where you move the slides and select how much money you need and how much you can afford to spend monthly and stuff. If you do the calculation for the mortgage, you think, okay, that's nice. You are not logged in, okay? And then, so the company, at least building society, knows that someone was on the website and did some calculation, and they have some unique idea. And then you log in to your bank system, and they see, so this user has the same fingerprint as the user that was doing the calculation. Oh, that's great. Let's go to marketing and let them call the person and offer them some nice loan that he might not even need yet, because he's not decided. He just did some calculation. But yeah, let's push him into signing the mortgage. He might not need it. And this is one example, but there is a lot of other examples. You can check your whatever news platform you use and look for the famous China social system thing recently. It's crazy. There is this popular argument on the internet, but for anyone, that, okay, but I have nothing to hide because I did nothing wrong, hence I don't care. Now there's a lot to say about this argument, and you need to really think thoroughly about it. And Ed Snowden said this thing, that arguing that you don't care about the rights to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying that you don't care about the freedom of speech because you have nothing to say. And it's the very same rights people generally should want to prevent to get abused. And I don't know how much you know about Ed Snowden and how the leaks happened 5 years ago, but he met three journalists from UK's paper Guardian. He met them at Japan. Was it Japan or China? I don't know, whatever. And this is one of the journalists. His name is Glenn Greenwald. And he has something to say about this nothing to hide argument, which I want to show you, because it's, I think it's very important to say.
Monitoring what they do in their personal lives. Over the last 16 months, as I've debated this issue around the world, every single time somebody has said to me, I don't really worry about invasions of privacy because I don't have anything to hide, I always say the same thing to them. I get out a pen, I write down my email address, I say, here's my email address, what I want you to do when you get home is email me the passwords to all of your email accounts. Not just the nice, respectable work one in your name, but all of them. Because I want to be able to just troll through what it is you're doing online, read what I want to read, and publish whatever I find interesting. After all, if you're not a bad person, if you're doing nothing wrong, you should have nothing to hide. Not a single person has taken me up on that offer.
I think it speaks for itself. So, what to do now? Okay, we got to the fourth point. We know why they do it, why they collect the data. We know how is it going on, how they do it, what they use, and now what to do. There's a lot of stuff you can do, unfortunately, that you have to do in order to protect yourself online. And it always depends on your threat model. There is this term called threat model, and it's just you just need to think of someone like who do you want to protect from? Who do you want yourself to be protected from? It wasn't interesting. And if you are in school and you have the IT class and you can't access, and you know that the IT administrator monitors all the network activity. Now your threat model is to protect yourself and your private data from the IT administrator. If you are doing, I don't know, if you are planning to do something illegal, probably, then your threat model is to protect yourself from the police. But this is the threat model, it's just the tips here quite vary from person to person, but I will go from the most basic tips to the most advanced one. So doxing. Any of you knows what doxing means? Okay, it comes from word docs, which is abbreviation from documents, and doxing means finding documents on someone to get the intel, to get the info. So, for example, if you are applying for a job recruiter might do a 10-minute Google search or Google search for your name and find something that, if you posted something, I don't know, something very bad that would affect people 7 years ago on your blog that you don't even use anymore, but it's on your name, and you want a job, and the HR department find your old blog, like what they will think about. And this is same for if you be part of legal but anarchistic group, like if you have some very nice ideas about politics and stuff and you share them and you want to fly to US, you might not get there because border control might not let you in because they might mark you as a potential threat because, so doxing means finding info on someone on the internet, usually on the internet, it doesn't have to be online, but mostly it is. And I kept myself 4 minutes, I did 4 minutes research on some people I know here, and within the four minutes I were able to find the 4 phone numbers of the people I know. This is just from the public records, and all of them were on the first or second pages of a Google result. I'm sorry if your number is. But it took me 4 minutes, and if you care about your phone number displayed or your home address displayed online for any purposes, you can do the digging yourself. I will stop displaying it. You can actually submit Google the request for removal of your personal data from their archive and from the indexes. You can do it on any website you find. They have to delete it, even though they might not delete it from the backups for whatever reason. If your threat model is just not to be found of some not so nice publicly displayed data online by other people, it's just good to submit a request for removal from search engines and pages where it's, or if you can delete it, it's much better. If it's on your Facebook and it's 10 years old, you can delete it yourself. So that is doxing. Now, IoT, Internet of Things. It's what I mean. It's really not important, but people are buying these things. Amazon Alexa. It's same thing as Google Home, Apple Home, however it's called, whatever. These devices you put home on your desk or whatever, and you can talk to, and they process the data, and they can tell you what the weather is today, on if you should take the umbrella or I don't know, some pointless things that are supposed to bring you comfort. But think about that. This device is called Alexa, and I think that if you say, "Hey Alexa," in some questions, so "Hey Alexa, what's the weather today?" Just think how it knows that you're asking a question. Okay? It needs to record your every word to be able to determine that you are saying "Hey Alexa," to actually give you the answer. So this thing has to be on 24/7 to be available for the service it's using. So one thing is that it data mines everything you say, but the other thing is that it's quite private device. You have it in your home, you have it in your local network, and it can be hacked, as it was many times. Or this thing, you know this thing? We got one in the garage, either this one. This guy bought a Raspberry Pi, a device that cost $40, and then he bought some radio antennas. So in total of $600. Yeah, let me just mute it because $600. This is actually the car owner. Okay, he goes to this pump and it charges the car within the 40 minutes, and he goes for a walk because he can't do anything with the car for 40 minutes. So he could watch the lake or whatnot. And this guy has this device, comes to the Tesla, capture the records that are emitted from the car in Python script. Then him and his colleagues made this big databases of all the possible digital keys. He goes, he captures his keys emitting signal, he cracks it within seconds. He comes with this $600 device. He uses it to remove the pump. It identifies as a proper key. He can unplug it. Very easy. You can get the car, use the same key to start the engine because it's wireless. And basically, you are ready to go. $600. So you don't get that info from me. Let me just quickly go back and forward. Just don't worry about it. Yeah. So be aware of this very clever internet-powered things. If you go to Amazon, one of the most buy home appliances is this Wi-Fi kettle. I don't really get the point of Wi-Fi kettle, but whatever. So dox yourself to find information about on yourself online and delete it if you can. Be aware of Internet of Things, smart home, big data stuff. Fight back. Some of you might use some adblock technology. Some of you use adblock, just adblock or adblock plus, which is very, very insecure and malware. Here is the currently best available adblocking script online. It's called uBlock Origin. There was this project uBlock. The guy that wrote it, it wasn't really good, so they forked it, and it's called, well, whatever, it's called uBlock Origin. You can find it online, in Chrome, in Firefox, and any other platforms. You can have it on your phone, if it's not Apple phone. And it's very, very easy on your computer, it works very fast, it blocks, and it's nice. And depending on your level of anarchism, you can use ad nauseum, which is currently banned in Google Chrome, because it kind of ruins Google's business. So what it does is that it uses uBlock Origin engine to block the ads online, even anywhere, YouTube, except TV, whatever. So it uses uBlock technology, but it does this very clever thing. If you go to the website, it hides the ad, so you can see it, and then it clicks on it. So if you work on the third floor and you know how PPC works and stuff like this, it kind of ruins the business for the advertiser and for Google, because anyone using this thing seemingly clicks on every ad they see, but they don't see it. So Google gets this info that people clicking with unusual amount of clicks on some ads. Yeah, it's a, how to say, so if WebNode does this ads, and I have this extension, and my browser clicks on WebNode ads, you, as a WebNode entity, really know that it's fake. So, and Google knows because like 100% of people clicked on the ads, which is quite, impossible. So they give you the money back, and you got your ad displayed for some users, because not everyone uses this, and Google is at loss at this time. So, yeah, it doesn't really hurt the advertisers, but it hurts Google, and it's very nice. Next tip, you can liberate your browser. They are not sorted in any order. The most basic thing you can do is to replace, where is it? This thing with Firefox. Everyone knows Firefox. Half of the people here have to use Firefox. I've it installed. This is the GNU iScan, which is just a fork of Firefox without the Mozilla branding. Interesting thing in Mozilla's license, they license the Firefox program to, it's publicly, the code is available, anyone can use it, but if anyone publishes the changes, it can't carry the name Firefox. That's why every derivative from Firefox is somehow animal related, and that's why it's Firefox, iScan, Sea Monkey, or whatever. Yeah, so this is WaterFox, which is privacy-oriented Firefox. Before Firefox was available in 64 bits, this was alternative to the 64-bit Firefox. This is Sea Monkey, this is Pale Moon, and this is ungoogled Chromium. Some of you may know that Google Chrome comes from this, I hate the term, open source project called Chromium. But if you go, because Google effectively has power over Chromium, so if you use Chromium, it still contains RGZ identifiers, and you can still be tracked. That's why there is this fork, which has the same code as Chromium, but they force deleted any traces of Google at all. So if you want to continue using the thing that you are used to, you can search online for ungoogled Chromium and get the instruction from GitHub to get the same user experience but privacy oriented. Secure communication. Most of you probably use some of the most popular phone communication chat platforms like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Viber, I don't know. Also, again, think about who owns the product and why is it free or whatever. It's the same as all the other stuff we talked about. And this is an application called Signal, which is also free, but it's paid by Open Whisper Foundation, which runs by donations. So, same as Wikipedia, it's a public interest-oriented stuff. It uses end-to-end encryption, but it's open source, except the service, but the app is open source. You can use Signal today, it's free, it's on your Play Stores, Apple Store, App Stores, F-Droids, whatever. And it has all the functionality you know from your messaging services. It also has this disappearing messages system, where you can set like 3 minutes and the message will be deleted after the guy or girl reads it, or after 3 minutes. And currently is the most private but usable communication system. Tor, I think some of you know the Tor is. It stands for onion routing. It's like when you connect from your laptop to web VPN, anything you do online seems for the companies like you do it from the web hub. So your real home IP address is hidden. Tor is built on quite similar principles, but it works like there is this network of Tor users who are willingly running free Tor-like VPN service, and you use Tor browser. It's a special browser called Tor browser. You open a website, and it goes to one user running the free version of this Tor network, second and third, and from this third guy, he actually visits the site you want, get it back, and get it back to you. So basically, it's like it's called the onion routing because there are many layers of people it goes through before it reaches the site you want to visit. Everything is encrypted, and effectively, if you are careful, you can't get tracked, and you can somewhat get full-on MIDI. Yeah. Now, again, depending on your thread model, you might want to use Tor, for example, in China, where certain websites are blocked, Facebook or stuff. So you can use Tor, and for the Facebook, or for anyone, it appears that you are logging from the endpoint, the guy that running the Tor network. So you can try Tor at torproject.org or Tor project on a search engine you use. You can play with it. It's quite slower than your internet connection because it needs to route through all the people in the network. It's very secure, and it gets some nice privacy-oriented features that it can. Yeah, some people sitting in the back know what it is. This is KeePass, the application for storing your passwords. And what is it if you know your passwords really wrong? Because nowadays we use tons and tons of services, not like back in the day. We use over 100, on average, 100 passwords, different, like 100 different services, not suddenly 100 different passwords, but you should use 100 different passwords because databases from big companies get leaked every day, almost, and if you use the same password everywhere, then you are screwed because anyone, these leaks are published online, and anyone can go to Pastebin and search for your email, and there's some chance that you might get some password because some website you used 10 years ago got hacked. And yeah, and a password manager like KeePass takes care of the issue, and you can store passwords there, so you can use a different password for every website you need to remember, and you can then use one password for this application. Now, if you are going to choose some password manager, go with KeePass, or any password manager that's offline. This is a very important thing. If it's like cloud-based, you don't really want the company behind the product have a copy of the passwords or whatever. You need to make sure that it's ransom. Read and learn here. Now it's time to really pull out something you can write in. It could be mobile phone. I will point you to some very excellent sources of information of any kind. EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation, has been protecting people's rights online since forever the internet. And they got this SSD, which is Surveillance Self-Defense. And it's a very nice sort of ebook website thing where you can read about security privacy tips for normal people. Very good. Some applications I already mentioned. It's very, very fun. Then privacytools.io and prism-break.org are very similar websites. If you don't have anything to write in, you can check the GitHub later on and get the URLs from there. These tools, these are websites which lists most popular services online and then shows you the free or private alternatives. So if you use Microsoft Outlook, it tells you to use Mozilla Thunderbird, and it gives you tips for using privacy-oriented tools for anything you do. It's email, maps, backups, chat system, operating system, whatever. Very, very, very detailed information. This is quite a bit more extreme. This is quite for normal users. Free Software Foundation and FSFE, which is a child company for Europe. And it's more of a philosophical and ideological thing. Free Software Foundation also protects people's lives on the internet. They also get some software to use, they also get some information how to do your online things to be more yours. Now, I never thought I would be recommending Reddit, but there is a subreddit called Privacy, and half of the stuff there is really, really good. Okay, honestly, the other half is, yeah, it gets some time. It will get you some time before you can determine if the thing they are recommending is really good or it's just like shilling for some software. But generally, it's still good to get some news about the privacy world and the security world. So you might check sometimes the privacy. And yeah, if you know G, then you don't need to know, and if you don't know, then you really shouldn't know. Whatever. I don't know what the point is. So, it was just for two people, whatever. Very next level. If you got somehow interested in what I'm saying here, or if you also be considering that you might want to get de-botneted, as I say, you can actually get out of this thing. And because Mac OS and Microsoft Windows are both proprietary software. This means that the people that wrote the programs, the operating system, they wrote it, they compile it, and you use it. You don't have a say in how it's used, what it does. You can't see the code. You can't do anything. You just have to rely on Microsoft or Apple for its features. Okay, and so if Windows decided to give you an update, you get the update. You can postpone it, but you have no say in saying how long you can postpone it, or you can do anything. Because Apple and Microsoft, they can force their agenda into the system, because although it's publicly used anywhere, they have the say in what's going on. And this is what the FSF fights against. One of their principles of free software is that a user has a right to run a program in any way they want, which is already violated by Windows and Mac. And these are Linux/Linux distributions that are a lot more private. Yeah. As is Ubuntu, run on my uncle. This is OpenSUSE. It's a German distribution. Then there is Fedora, which is a product of Red Hat. Yeah. I don't want to show this. Yeah, so you can try, if you feel like it, you can, and you don't want to replace your system and go crazy and nuts and then email Peppa that you have some problem. You can just download the VirtualBox software, which is basically a program that you can install system into, just like a system inside the system. You can do whatever you want, and you can close it, and you are back in your program, and nothing changed. And you can play around with these systems and see if you might consider using it on your machine. You can try it out. This is all of them are free, as in free beer, like free price, and also free as in freedom, because the code for them is available. There is nothing malicious inside the system. There is no tracking, and you have the right to do anything you want with it. You can use modified versions of it. You can share it freely, and this is a principle of free software. So this is Ubuntu, this is Debian, this is Fedora, and this is Linux Mint. Linux Mint is very similar with the interface to Windows, so this might be a good way to go. And if you already use some of them, and you feel like there are some quite technical nerd hacker meet script thing, you can use some tinfoil hat systems. This is Arch, it's not really secure, but everyone uses Arch, or you use Arch. This is Gen 2 as well. But this thing, this is endorsed by advertisement. This system is called Cubes OS. And as I told you about the VirtualBox, the application that lets you install system on your system. Cubes OS does this compartmentalization thing, where you can open any application in its own separate isolated container. So you open Google Chrome and it creates a virtual machine just for Chrome. And then you open a movie in VLC and it creates another virtual machine. And both of them have no way to communicate with each other, and it's like the most secure thing you can use. It needs quite a lot of memory, but yeah, if your threat module is NSA or AGCQ or any three-letter agency, then go for it. And this, I want to spend 1 minute to say what Temple OS is. There was this American programmer who recently died in August. His name was Terence Andrew Davis, and he suffered from mental illness, and he was one of the best programmers that ever lived. And he single-handedly wrote operating system. He wrote his kernel, he wrote his compiler, he did everything on his own, and it's called Temple OS. Interesting thing is, it's not based on anything. He wrote it from scratch. And if you, a few years ago, was last year, the news about this vulnerabilities in processors called Spectre or Meltdown, this wasn't affected because he wrote everything by himself. This is quite impressive. If you want, it's Friday, and if you go down back to your computer, if you don't want to work anymore, you can read about Temple OS. It's quite an interesting story. So, yeah, I hope that you will think about some thoughts I told you here. You can ask me anything you want concerning anything about now. So this part ends with this fourth step, and I thank you now for your time, and I will do the discussion. This is Dr. Richard Stallman. He is the founder of Free Software Foundation. He founded it in 1983. And he's a strong advocate for free software. And he's quite extreme, and everywhere he goes, he takes whatever notebook he uses, and he's depicted on these pictures that I have here on the. And this is actually iframe from a website called rms.sexy. So this will be here for our discussions. I hope you have some questions. I'm ready to begin.
Also, I have one stupid question. Does it make sense to have more accounts, or like if you use several emails, or does just Google or any company immediately knows that you are the same?
It's actually a very good question. Yes. It depends, because it depends on your thread model. If you, let's have some example thing. Yeah, you have an email at Gmail, and let's say the email is tomato7, okay, and you can then create another email called tomato9. Now, if you want to hide the second account from Google, then you can't, because they know, okay? They know because you're using the same computer. They can use the fingerprinting methods we use. But if your concern is not, or you can use the Tor network, and create the Gmail account through the Tor. And every time you use the second account, you will use the Tor or VPN or other computer and network that you are using the first program on. Then Google will not know. Then also you need if you're planning like terrorist attack. I just said the word, and I know that you have Android phones with the microphone turned on, and I've done Alvin Tech, but I don't care. If you do what I said, you use some network for this, Tor or whatever. You can still, there's multiple layers of stink that can be targeted by you. Let's say you write 10 large emails, then the Google can can go through the emails, and then they can go through your grammar and choice of words and have like a sense of how you type. Okay, so there is this thing called. I'll go to privacy tools. Then I have it. I will not, because this is English keyboard. And there is this tool actually at the very bottom. Okay. I hope it is here. Oh. It's not. Okay, it's called and in the I don't know right. And in the mouth. What it does, anonymous, whatever you get one, is you write some text and it changes some words that are very specific to the general ones, so you can't be fired. But yeah, back to the original one. Yeah, it makes sense to have different accounts. Depends on who you want to protect them from. Okay, you can have different accounts if you want to abuse, but no affiliate program.
No, I meant more like, let's say I have an email or Gmail address which I use for emails, and then I have an Android phone and I don't want Google to know, I don't want to sign in to the Android with the same.
Yeah, then it's good, then it's really good. You use different email for Android, but then once you are in the Android and you use Gmail app for the first email, then they might have an idea that it's you. But it's still it's much better than to use the same. Yeah, it's a valid point. It's good. Just they will not know that it's you because someone. Yeah, you could even win a case with this because you use a second email for the whole phone and the first email just for the Gmail, and there might be a case where you went to a cafe and use someone else's phone to log in, and it's quite more private, and I think that I advise you to do so. Okay, back to RMS. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
How do you open your bank accounts?
How do I open?
Your bank accounts.
Bank accounts are quite exception because if you go and actually open like start a bank account at some bank, you already have to give them all the information. You have to give them your ID card number, you have to give them your address, full name, place of birth, date of birth. So they already know it's you. So now there are two quite different things here. One is privacy and the other one is security. And you can do some things to log into your bank for security purposes and some for private purposes. And like if you are on public Wi-Fi, but still you go to the bank and every bank uses HTTPS, then it means that it's encrypted on your machine and it goes to the bank. So it's still private. Generally, I log into my bank on my devices, with the exception of webmail computer. But I log into bank with the phone, my phone, and with my laptop, and then the office computer. But I would not log into my bank on other people's computer because I don't know what the computer is running behind. Like even if I know the friend and I can trust him fully, I don't know if that he is a victim of some virus and he got the keylogger there. I can't really trust the device, so I use only my devices for the banking. Yeah. Tom?
Yeah. So what do you do about your phone, for example? And
phone, okay.
that was kind of follow-up question I supposed to know. If you have a VPN on your phone does it encrypt all your data transfer or only the data transfer of your browser?
No, VPN transfers all the network data, everything you do. So if I have a laptop and I'm at home and I connect to webnode VPN and I use Chrome and do my thing, like email, and then I use a torrent program, then I'm still using the webnode VPN. So it encrypts all the traffic.
So if I have a VPN on my phone and I don't log in to any accounts during the time I'm using the VPN, they basically cannot see that it's me who's using that Android device.
Maybe could you explain?
So if I want to anonymize my use of the phone more, like geolocation and maybe even voice or whatever, and I use a VPN, can they kind of still? They probably can still figure out that it's me because I'm in there with my Google account. But does it make any sense to protect my phone directly with a VPN?
It does, because if you use some VPN like NordVPN, for
Yeah.
example, and you go to the bank account website, the traffic is already encrypted because of the HTTPS. So they can't know, they just know that this user of NordVPN came to the bank website, but they can't know your credentials because that's all encrypted. So they just know metadata. They just know the websites you visit and the time you visit them. So it's private. But if 90% of your traffic is to tom.com, get the point. Just if your mission is not to expose any data through the VPN, logging into systems with HTTPS will keep you safe, but generally that's true.
Okay. More questions even. If you use the Tor browser, it was something I read a while ago, probably from some kind of forum poster. How do you make sure that you don't end up as the exit node and you kind of do some illegal stuff without knowing because people use your computer to post?
The way this is set up, actually by default, is that if you install Tor bundle or just the browser, by default you are not the exit point and you are not even the relay point. So if we just very quickly scramble here, let's go with that symbol. So here is the Tor network, and here is the, porn side, okay? And if you want to visit it, then it goes, you are here, it connects to one node, second node, third node, and then to the port. Port recognizes a request from this guy, and it gives him the results, and they will get through the network here. None of these people will know your identity. It's encrypted in here already. And by default, anyone who installs the Tor bundle is here. Okay? You have to manually choose in the settings that you want to be first or second node, which is just a relay point, or if you want to be the exit point.
Okay.
If you're running the exit node on Tor, you are doing a great service to the Tor network, but you also need to realize that anyone using Tor will do the internet things on your behalf. So anyone doing any illegal activity at all, it will go through your network. And if you are like just one guy or a small company, there might be cases where it might be quite hard for you in a legal manner. But if you are a big company, like let's say Mozilla, they run Tor nodes because they can fight for their rights, because they can always say that it was from Tor and they can justify it in some legal manner. But by default you are not part of the network in the sense of the nodes. So it's voluntary to be part of the
one last question. It's like when I talk about online security with people, that maybe one of the strongest arguments that I get against it is that don't you make yourself to some extent suspicious by, for example, using VPNs, using Tor, protecting yourself like that?
what you do. There's one idea of, if I quickly jump back to the screenshots of how it's done, I got this thing. There's also another fingerprinting method based on what extensions you have installed and what user agent says. So like, if you know the most used browser is Google Chrome on Windows 10, you can use some extension like this one called user agent spoofer. And you can manually write down that you are using Chrome. And the idea, one of the idea of anonymizing yourself is to blend in with the masses. But that was the point I was saying earlier, that there are actually three terms, you know, privacy, security, and anonymity, and not necessarily the thing I'm talking here covers all of them. And there are not that many things tools that cover all of them together. So if you want to be anonymous, you can use some stuff like Tor, or you can like blend in with the data. And if you want to be like, yeah, it's just a combination. But to answer your question, yeah, you are going to be, you might even get to some list because you are using, I don't know, VPN, and you connect to a website that is already tagged by some like agency. But just like we live in Europe, not in the US, where you can get arrested for, you know, tweeting something that's not even illegal, but just like on the side of things. So if you are worried that you might be tagged, but you still do everything on the plane of legal stuff, then yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. If your threat model is to hide from the state, then it does. But it depends on your personal threat model.
Alright, thanks.
Okay. You mentioned our Android devices listening to us all the time. Do you really believe that?
They don't know. They don't listen because it's costs so much traffic for so little information. They already got the info from what you're doing quite precisely. They can target you from the data they collect, and it wouldn't be beneficial to record everyone's phone because so much data, even if you compress it properly, it's just so much data. But because it's proprietary, means it's closed source, meaning that they have full control of the code. If the court comes to Apple and the court have a suspicion that someone did some illegal activity, Apple can remotely activate the microphone and record in real time. They can do it, but it's not happening on like a mass level, but they can do it from the top. That's why the FBI versus Apple case is such a bullshit, because it's closed source, that's one thing. So we don't know what's going on. We have to take Apple's word for it. You know, there was this case. There was a terrorist, and he used iPhone 5C, and the FBI came to Apple and asked if they can use some backdoor or hack to get to the iPhone because it was password protected. And Apple publicly said no. But first, it's a private company with proprietary code. And second thing that a lot of people forget, Apple was part of a PRISM program. PRISM was the internal program NSA, and Apple joined the program in 2012, which means that the NSA has all the Apple service data if they want to. So I don't know if they are listening to all the devices. I'm quite sure they are not, but they can turn the switch remotely, and it's been proven that they can, if they got the reason. And usually, companies like Google, out of nothing, don't really care that you do whatever you do, because they care about advertisement, they care about collecting data. But the point here still is that they can access it remotely. There are things you can do about it, and it's quite limited. There are, for certain Android phones, you can now get custom, like let's say operating system, to replace this thing and put there some free operating system. The most popular one is Lineage OS, which strips down all the Google communication. And then we might get some more security, because Google can track you there. Then we can have another talk about some backdoor in the hard drive.
If I install KeePass, or how do I make sure that my passwords from KeePass don't leak, or how does KeePass make sure of that?
How you can make sure that KeePass is
Then that nobody steals the passwords from KeePass.
okay. The biggest advice I can give you is first get the password manager that's free software or open source, so anyone can watch the code. There are people watching open source code. So if someone hides something in the program because it's open, they risk that someone will find the hacking stealing thing. So use only free software for a password manager. Make sure that it's run offline, that it does not have network availability. Some network managers like LastPass, I think, is a cloud-based, and it syncs your database over the platforms, which might be comfortable for someone, and it's okay that you use it. But for me, it's unacceptable because I don't trust the network with transferring. I will transfer the database myself. Or you can use, for example, Windows firewall to block the internet for this application on your system, and you are good to go. So use free, well-audited, well-known offline programs. KeePass has been proven to be secure. Even its derivatives called KeePass X and KeePass XC for phones.
Thank you.
So once you're using Google Chrome, does it even matter if it's HTTPS, because the Google sees what you see anyway, or?
No, they won't. Hopefully, because the thing is that, you use HTTPS. If you go to WebNode and you log in, it's encrypted. And this is web standard, and they can't do anything about it.
Okay, but it's end-to-end, so the browser is the other end, and that's Chrome. So that's my point.
The thing here is that, you are using the browser, you are viewing the website through the Chrome, so even though it's encrypted data, let's say that Google can hide a little snippet of code in the Google Chrome program saying, take screenshots anonymously, okay? And even if you use HTTPS, you successfully log in, the data is encrypted, but the program secretly takes screenshots, and then you are done. But it seems unlikely that they would do it, because they are just data mining. But always keep this in mind, what's possible. I said that it's like a second level of things, because it's now browser. You're doing everything in browser, and you rely on Google doing good stuff in browser. And they also do, they get a lot of development, brilliant development tools, but it was a good point. Did I answer your question? Yeah. I got lost in my tongue. Okay.
You mentioned DuckDuckGo earlier. Is it really better than Google Chrome? Does it really have some?
Do you want to know my honest opinion?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's everywhere. It's recommended everywhere. It's like a nice paragraph on it. But that's something. If you look for DuckDuckGo on Wikipedia. Now it's Christmas time. This is a good thing to say about Christmas. Anyone of you can, and it's a good thing to support the Wikimedia project and donate some money to Wikipedia, because it runs on donations, and every one here of you used Wikipedia for something at some point. And I think it's a very good example of having community, like world community-driven system like Wikipedia, and I advise you strongly to support or donate this. DuckDuckGo has been found by Gabriel Weinberg, who before, I can't link to his name here, but this was found 10 years ago by this guy Gabriel, who got famously known for collecting some data on some website and then selling it. He sold a large database of data of a website he made, and then he invested the money to start DuckDuckGo. And you can think whatever you want about it, but it's just, it's yeah. If you open DuckDuckGo, you don't. It's essentially it is like Google because you see this. You don't know what's going behind curtains. You just have to rely on them that they are not doing bad things. And like very generally, I can say that it's good to use DuckDuckGo just because you split your data to different endpoints, but also so Google does not have all the profiling on you. But I would not personally recommend DuckDuckGo as the default search engine for you. It's quite hard to say what good default search engine is. Most of you would appreciate Start Page. Start Page is literally Google results through their proxy. So whatever you write here, Start Page servers go to Google, search it themselves, and returns you the result. So if I write here Bruno, Google does not know that it was me. They see that Start Page, search for it, but you get all the nice results. It's just not that personalized, but that's the whole point. It's not built on a problem. So this is Start Page. You can use it. I think you will appreciate it. Me personally, just because of my personal hate towards Google, I'm not using it because this still supports Google. But it's just another thing. Excellent thing is just searching. It's this is like a self-hosted search engine, and anyone can host search. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's say search. And the most popular node is searchx.me. And what it does, that it searches as well the internet. And how it works that it uses, here's a result from Bing. Here's Google, Bing, Google, yeah, sorry, Google, yeah. But the point is that it aggregates data from all these search engines. And you can select what the data will display, images, maps. Yeah, they get these 2 options for maps, these 12 options for images. And so you split and so you convert, so yeah, you just split your traffic through these things. Then you can selectively choose what engines will it use, and you get the best results combined. And it also serves as a proxy, as a start page. So yeah, and I will finish it with Quant, which is French-based company. It's a small search engine, but it's very good, even for a Czech Republic, located data. I don't know. This is the. I'm really about it. This is the. They make vegan burgers here in Brno, at Česká. You can, yeah, these are all quite relevant data. This is all the same thing. So this is French-based search engine. We don't know anything about it, what they do. We can read their privacy policy agenda. But just because it's a small search engine, it's already good because you're not feeding the beast. And also, yeah, depends on what you search. But yeah, I would trust it. I would trust anything except that they don't do. But Start Page is a good way to go.
Yeah, a few more questions.
Yeah.
There's this new browser called Brave Browser.
Oh god. It's basically
except you get paid for the ads you see, supposedly.
Yes, supposedly. Do I need to say anything more? No, it's based on WebKit, which is the same like the browser engine that the Chrome is built on. It also works on phone, and it works ads by default on phone. I haven't investigated thoroughly myself yet because I had no reason to leave Firefox family of forks. But generally, in the security and privacy circles, it's not very well received. I can't get you the exact reasons, but I don't have the info yet on the Brave. But I don't know if it's even No, if it's firing,
It's open source.
is it? Okay. Yeah, I didn't do digging yet because all the other options are good for what I want. But yeah, I can tell you my opinion next week. We can have a coffee though.
I'd be up for that, definitely. One last question, more like a hypothetical scenario. So for example, if I would have 2 laptops, and I use one for important things like banks, any other things that actually matter for like financial, economic, whatever.
Alright.
And on the second, that's what I would use my own personal email address for as well. And on the second one, I would use fake email addresses just look to my normal internet activity.
Yeah.
Is that somehow a safety precaution? Like, would they be connected? Would there be any opportunity to connect?
Depends on what you need, but generally it's very good setup. You can also do it on the same computer. You can use 2 different hardened browsers. You can use Chrome for the general purpose browsing, and then you can use Firefox with the privacy enhancements in settings for your online banking activities and stuff. And if you do your stuff the good way, those 2 won't ever connect. But the thing is, you have to think of the network, okay? If you're using the same Wi-Fi, then you have the same IP address, and depending on what you are wanting to prevent, there might be a hole in the loop. Or you can use Chrome for everything, and then you can use Tor for your private stuff, and that way no one will know. Because it's a different browser, but it's also a different network, because as I said, the Tor browser, it doesn't work like VPN in a sense of the whole network on the computer. If you open Tor browser, it connects to the network only for the browser itself. So if you open Chrome next to this, you still are browsing like a naked sense on your own Wi-Fi. So if I open Chrome and go to WebNode and open Tor and go to Google, no one knows it's the same guy, because Google thinks that the guy that opened the Google is the endpoint from the board. But WebNode thinks that it's the IP address here in the building, because we aren't hiding ourselves. So you can have a Tor and non-Tor browser and do the same thing.
Okay.
Just have to be cautious about logging in there and logging in there. Just privacy conscious.
And one more question about clouds. Like,
Hold on.
yeah, do you know any kind of cloud that is more or less privacy focused, where you upload pretty private stuff like pictures and documents and whatever?
Yeah, I will use this opportunity that you mentioned clouds just to say this one sentence to anyone here, regardless of your technological knowledge. There is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. And that's it. Like, that's the whole point. It's someone else's computer. They call it cloud because it sells better. It's just someone else's computer running the program so you can transfer files. But that's just it. Okay, just think of it that you are sending your family pictures to someone else's computer and you're paying for it at some point. And you trust them that they don't lose everything. There's the story of some guy that had all the pictures of his son since his birth to his 6 years old, 6 years I think. And then he opened a business. Okay, and he used Google Photos. And then he opened a business, and he had a store, and he made a business Google account. It's something like that. I'm not really sure how it works. And he clicked like connect, and he connected his personal Google account with his business account, and all the photos were gone because now the business account has a clean plate with the photos. There are no photos in the business account at first, and if you combine personal and business account, you can now start using everything from the beginning. So he emailed Google and said, okay, but I also want photos in this marriage. What can you do about it? And they said, well, we can't really do anything about it. You sign up for the business account, combined it with your private account, and yeah. I'm sorry, could you just repeat the question? What was it? What was it?
The question was just
The cloud, yeah.
Yeah, the cloud.
Very sorry. Like the best answer I can tell you is, yeah, I'll show you. This is bulletproof, okay? You go online and you go and find, or whatever. Download Veracrypt. This is a successor of a program called TrueCrypt, which is compromised. Now, the Veracrypt is currently the best we have. What it does is you open it, it will create a new file of your chosen file, or chosen size, let's say 50 gigabytes. It will make a 50 gigabytes large file on your computer. And then it will mount it the same way as you plug in the USB. So you can use, it will act like you have now a 50 gigabytes of USB drive. You can put anything you want in there, and then you can unmount it, meaning shut the program off, and it will just look like a 50 gigabytes of file, and no one can see what is inside. So if you download Veracrypt and you create a container of 10 gigabytes, put there any personal information, click unmount, meaning eject, and then you upload this encrypted file to anything, even to Google Drive. No cloud service can know what's inside, and you can use whatever features they have. The only slightly uncomfortable thing is that you can't use it in a regular sense of using it, like if you can open Google Photos and see them right away, because Google thinks that there is just one file in their cloud. But basically, it's just like you take everything you have private on your computer, use this program to bundle it up to encrypted container, password protected, and then you can upload it to anywhere safely, because and any other computer you can download Veracrypt and unencrypt it again. And this is what I would recommend to anyone. I do it personally, but if that's too much hassle for you and you want to use their services, like if you go to Dropbox and you have Dropbox account, I don't use Dropbox, but I think there's this, like, it's similar to Google Docs. Like, you can edit the file in the browser, which is something that some people might want to, if you're going to use the cloud as a backup, but as like a synchronization, everyday life thing. And there are some privacy-oriented clouds on this facet. I can't think of any which ones. Well, who was the company? Yeah, usually go for the smaller ones, but yeah, there is this open source project called Nextcloud, and you have two options with Nextcloud. You can download it and run it on your home server, like you can buy Raspberry Pi or old laptop, put it in your, I don't know, drawer, run Nextcloud on it, and you have your personal cloud stored at your home, okay? And you can use it like you use any other cloud, like Dropbox and whatnot. It just works, and it's stored on your home device or wherever you use it. You can even rent online server and put it there and encrypt, and it's encrypted and it's nice. And if you don't have a device at home to host it, you can actually where is it? You should do the digging yourself at home, but there are options where other people, other providers run Nextcloud nodes. The closest one for our Czech Republic is something in German, and they use Nextcloud on their servers, exact same copy as you can download here, but they just have some pricing plan because they host it. And I would trust someone's Nextcloud. They could potentially download the original version and do some malicious stuff and then run it online. But usually the people that decided to run Nextcloud online don't have such a bad agenda as something. So you can use Nextcloud. Nextcloud node hosted somewhere, and they've even got some free plans, like 5 gigabits, as you are used to on other websites, or you can run it at home, or you can do the Veracrypt thing I showed you before. The Veracrypt is the most secure because you can bundle the data, you can do anything you want with the file, you can pass it.
Veracrypt is just password protected. So Veracrypt is password protected, so it's just a password I need to basically mount it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can select a file, so you can have instead of password, you can have an encryption file. So let's say you have a USB drive, and then one with photo on it. And when you are decrypting the container, it asks you for the file.
Okay.
So, or you can have both, you can password and the file, which is quite good security-wise.
And like for emails, does it make sense to use something like Proton Mail or something like that?
I use Proton Mail. They quite changed the plans. I created a free Proton Mail back in when it was private beta, and they gave you like a lot of free gigs. They gave you the ability to delete the send from Proton Mail thing that is on every free account. But still, if you use, I would trust Proton Mail. There are some rumors that the servers are based in the US, which is not true. Actually, they are based in Switzerland, and it has been proved. I would trust Proton Mail with the emailing. But the thing is about the emails that you always rely on the provider. Same as Nextcloud, you can run your mail server at home. It's very hard to set it up yourself. Hillary Clinton, she didn't. But still, the best thing about the emails you can do to be proven in the military, in governments, is to use Gmail, email encryptions, to use PGP or GPG, if you know these things are. But the problem with PGP or GPG, which are asymmetric encryption algorithms for encrypting emails, is that it's secure. It's like Veracrypt, okay? You can use Gmail you can even use Gmail, and if you encrypt your emails with a GPG, it means that it looks like a gibberish data. But the recipient, it works like this: you need two parties to exchange an email, and you need both of them to run the GPG or PGP. PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy, and GPG is just fork of it from GNU, meaning GNU PG. And if you have two people running the email encryption, GPG, then you can have 100% secure email transfer. It just works like that they encrypt the message with your. Yeah, this is the private and public cryptography thing. You can look it up. Just go for GPG. I don't want to go into details because no one really cares, like outside of IT people. But yeah, you can use Proton Mail. I would trust it. But if you want to send some very sensitive information to someone, and you have an option for both of you to choose the way to do it, then I strongly recommend you to use encryption of email, to use GPG, and that way it's a very bulletproof system of transferring text to a bit clearer format.
So the email is still encrypted once it's received, like when it's stored to the server or something, or?
Yeah, it works like if you use GPG, your computer creates two keys. Okay, short key and private key and a public key, and they are bundled together. They have there is an algorithm connects these two. Okay, and you use it. You write a message, and you send the user, the other guy, you send him your public key. And he writes the message, and he uses your private, public key, which you gave him, to sign it, to encrypt it. and then you can transfer it freely on the internet, and only you have the private key. It's always a key pair, okay? So private key and public is bundled together. Only there's just this like connection. So anyone that encrypts text with your public key, it can only be decrypted with you by your private key. And on this simple system, it's all the encryption is built on. So it's very private. And I don't really want to get lost in this key exchange cryptography stuff, but yeah, it's secure and it's safe, and it's used for signed documents, it's used for encrypting documents. You can encrypt this as well. Yeah. Yeah, answer your question.
Well, I meant like if I save the email I received and don't encrypt it, it's still saved on the server. Like, for example, our users, we can access that. Let's put it like that. So if there's someone,
Yeah, if I
Gmail, let's say, we can read it.
if you use Gmail on the like your gmail.com, then there's no way to use encryption because they handle the data. But if you use like, let's say Outlook, and you just use Google servers, so you get the text, raw text, then you can use GPG, and Google will not know if you're using it, because only you can decrypt it with your key that is stored in the Outlook or the place where you do it. But because Gmail is in the browser, generally, you can't use your keys there, so that's why you can't do it in the public area.
Question about Android. So when you log in with, let's say, your Google account, it also has, or it can also read the information about your phone, like what phone you use, and can it also read, like, for example, the serial number of the phone, or
When you log into the Android?
Yes, or for example, not necessarily with the Google
Yeah,
account.
because if you go into settings on your Android phone and go to the very bottom of the system, and then you put about phone, then you can read the build number at the very bottom. Because they wrote the system and they know how to. They got the kernel which communicates with the hardware and stuff. They know how to communicate with it, so they can have all the access they want with the physical phone.
Okay. So if, let's say, I want to sell my phone, I factory reset it, and somebody else buys it and installs or logs in with their account, is there some trace whatsoever that this phone used to belong to my account before, or?
No, no, it's not. Like, if you factory reset, if you flash it, like if you go to the factory reset, like, so you put it in a state that it's like if you bought it right away, and then you sell it, there is no way to, for the guy to know that it was you, the owner before. Police can know it because the IMEI number, which is the phone hardware unique ID number, it gets transmitted over the phone network. So if I call someone with my phone now, the number, the IM number plus my phone number gets transmitted to the cell tower and to whomever else I want. And my phone provider, meaning Vodafone, knows my IMEI number, and they can tell it to if they want to. So, like, and the next guy who puts the SIM card in the phone will use the same IMEI number because it's the same phone. But it can't hurt you anyway because you've flashed it. Like, yeah, it's just you are responsible for a phone once you sell it because you flashed it. The guy who buying it will never know. The people that are able to tell that it's the same device is the phone provider, which also translates to state if they want to ask them. And then if we would have to be very strict, then it could, with the fingerprinting methods online, it could somehow be like with some level of accuracy, website would know that the access came from this device before, because they use the same settings and stuff, but it's not like, you can't prove it because you can have the same setting on different phones. So you are very safe from to the person you are selling the phone to.
Is there any exploit like this you can use as a company?
Asking real questions.
Well, what you mean? Like,
For example, if I want to track someone that watched a certain video and then offer him some advertising and then know that he purchased or not, could be used, for example, these fingerprints models. So
could you just tell me this the example story again?
for example, imagine if I want to advertise someone that watched a certain video, and then I want to know if this person purchased or not, and I don't have any tracking tools that we are using now to track these kind of things. Would it be possible to use these fingerprint methods to do this?
I still don't really get the story here. Just, okay, you want to know that someone has purchased something where?
From us.
From a web.
Yes.
And like a customer.
What I want to know is to be able to track someone since he watched a video until the purchase in our company.
Oh, and where videos are like
In here.
oh, on YouTube. Well, it's stored on YouTube, so the YouTube gets the traffic. So we have no way to know if someone watches the video here on YouTube. We just know that the person came from YouTube probably. We check the referrer, like the previous address. But you yourself can install some extensions to delete the referrer. So websites you visit can't with your previous page name. And this way, if I have this extension and I watch the YouTube ad and it gets me to the web landing page, then you don't know that I came from YouTube if you didn't use some URL modifying my PCM. You can't tell. You can't tell if it's based on some third. Yeah, you can't know that it's the guy because the video is hosted on YouTube. You can, you can just probably with the exploit check if he's logged in with the Google account. But that won't tell you that, it will just tell you that he's logged in to YouTube. You don't know that he watched or it came from the video. Okay, I think that's about it. It was quite long, but I very appreciated you being here. I do ask questions, and thank you.